Newman, Keslowski, Hamlin, Harvick, Truex, and Schrader.
Truex. Really hard to tell. I mean, it looked like this 11 was slow getting in the corner.
Looked like he tried to get up there. Thought maybe the 55 got a little bit loose getting there, and Jimmy was trying to maybe avoid that somehow. Okay.
11 and 55 there.
Yeah.
Tire down on the 11, right front maybe after that contact.
Definitely a stack up. Oh man, there's a lot of good cars got torn up here.
In the final stages of the 2013 race at Bristol, the playoffs were heating up, to make the chase, that is. Martin Truex, deep in the championship picture, was racing around Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin. He unfortunately got caught up in this accident. But what made it even worse was Denny Hamlin's boneheaded move to crash into Brian Vickers. And Kevin Harvick was extremely upset. He was part in this accident, and he also had a very fast car that night. So after this accident, he went and parked in Denny Hamlin's pit stall, and tempers boiled over.
Looked like the 11 and the 29 got together. I think Kevin Harvick may have gotten in the right rear of Denny Hamlin getting into the corner.
You know, things happen so quickly that it's hard to tell until you see a replay, unless it's just, you know, definitive there that drivers question exactly what may have happened.
Well, Jamie?
Kevin, we saw you frustrated there. What happened? What led to that?
I just saw the 11 shoot up, you know, trying to get back at somebody and just caused a wreck, but said the 56 got into him there, so I just wanted to know what happened. All good. Just hate it for my Jimmy John's guys, and you know, track position such a big deal. Wish we had the old Bristol back. It's a lot more fun to race on.
With a very fast car that evening, Kevin Harvick was rightfully upset after being collected in an accident that wasn't even his fault. Harvick was so upset at Denny Hamlin that he even started shouting words at Hamlin in his post-race interview that he did right at the entrance to the garage area, which is actually just the infield at Bristol. Harvick had already seemed to have a frustrating night, as his post-race interview already said he wishes that he had old Bristol back. This was just a moment that was so out of control, you just had to be there to witness it.
I don't think it's going to last either, and the 88 of Alex Bowman is currently in the free pass. Oh, and the 88 goes around in the middle of 3 and 4, right in front of the 24.
And the caution comes out. Back going the right direction is Alex Bowman.
And there's just not enough space for everyone. The 88 goes in, and this is where the trouble starts. He forces the 3 up. The 3 makes contact with the 24. That is the damage for the left rear of the 24. And then when you get to the other end of the racetrack, I think Austin Dillon says, listen, you may be in the playoffs, and I'm not, but you're just not going to run me over. He sends the 88 up the racetrack.
That was an aggressive move into turn 1 by Bowman.
And look at the guy in the bottom, that bright yellow 22. We're hearing from NASCAR. Free pass, Joey.
During the playoffs in 2019, Austin Dillon, a non-championship contender, and Alex Bowman, who was in the playoffs, got into a heated moment on the front stretch. Tempers would boil over, and then Alex Bowman would get turned to the next corner by Austin Dillon after he repped him off the previous turn. Austin Dillon definitely has a history of roughing people up at Richmond, but man, sometimes he needs to get his temper under control, especially in moments like this when he's not even in the playoffs, and Alex Bowman is. This was just uncalled for. In 2007, when exiting the pit road, Paul Menard would cut in front of Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart's immediate frustration took over as he would bang into Paul Menard's back bumper. This is something you cannot do in NASCAR. It's extremely dangerous to do, especially on pit road, with pit crews around. So Tony Stewart was black flagged for aggressive driving after this, but man, was it intense between these two drivers.
Right, yeah, let's get in here and, oh my gosh, give him another whack right there. Oh. Now, why he would tear his own car up, I have no idea.
Alan?
You know, we talked about the tight confines down here on pit road, guys, and Paul Menard is pitted in the spot in front of Tony Stewart. Well, Paul, trying to be cautious and not run over a couple of his crew guys, didn't pull all the way up in his pit box. So Tony, who came in ahead of Paul, had to back up and go around him, and that's when you saw Menard pull out of his pit box and jump out in front of Tony. So Tony was a little upset that he had to stop and back up when he should have been ahead of, you know, how all that works, Rusty, right?
I see one here in the 33 car.
Oh, man.
See, Robbie Gordon
he
just got into the 33 car. You know, he says he did it on purpose. I really don't believe that, guys.
Tony is not happy, out of the car, standing there on the edge of the racetrack. The car, you see it simmering and smoking. He's going to have a little discussion here, watching for the 27 car of Robbie Gordon to come by.
Well, don't throw that helmet. That thing cost about $2,500. Don't do that. Oh, man, you don't do that. You don't do that. A lot of money in the helmet. Frustrations, I know, but go kick the side of your house or something. Don't throw your helmet, man.
Well, then you might break your foot. Then what do?
Yeah.
You can't mash the gas if you break your foot.
Little Debbie lap leaders. Talk about how successful Stewart has been. Car on the wall.
Nemechek.
And Mike Bliss. And the caution is out once again.
Oh,
wow.
Robbie Gordon
with a hard hit. Michael Waltrip, we're hearing, involved.
This was on the caution flag, wasn't it?
See, Robbie's got the net down, an indication that he's okay.
Now, that car isn't okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing he's not the happiest guy in New Hampshire either. Now, down the backstretch.
Like Michael turned the 7 car into the outside wall. Maybe looking for somebody.
You think? Matt?
Bill, I believe the car he's looking for is the Napa Chevrolet. Now, he said on the radio a number of comments as Michael just went by about the 15. And then he said, NASCAR, I hope you're listening. I will pay Michael Waltrip back.
I think he's going to try to pay him back with his helmet.
I don't know. Robbie really loves his helmets.
Yeah. Those paint jobs are quite expensive, too, Wally.
They are, Matt. You're right. That's why you have second thoughts. Okay, here we go.
Car with the helmet off. Record just got there now.
Let's see the accuracy.
And it's a shot.
Oh!
Well, I guess you don't like the helmets that bad.
His helmet at my car. I told you that. What's going on? Well, that's just rude. It was his fault.
Robbie used those same words in this race 1 year ago.
And, you know, I think that there's a difference of opinion there. Michael said it was Robbie's fault, and I'm sure that Robbie
doesn't see it that way.
Doesn't see it that way. That's right.
Okay. Here's today's helmet tossing event.
Wow, that was pretty gutsy. It's like a bullfighter.
Tony about to run over the helmet.
Sure he doesn't.
Boy, the trailer is going to be busy after the race today.
Imagine a driver who's got a really, really good car today, riding around, watching all this happen around him. That would be Tony Stewart. He just called him.
Notice, Bill, all those restarts.
Like Yaxios, the caution was out, and he wrecked me. And he's a piece of shit.
And we apologize for that language.
Robbie Gordon always reminded me of a different version of Tony Stewart. It seemed like they had similar backgrounds in racing and they could wheel any race car in any series. But in NASCAR, Robbie Gordon didn't have the same success as Tony Stewart. He frankly just didn't win as much or was consistent. But he would run into altercations with drivers so often and it became a problem with the fan base. They didn't like Robbie Gordon. And in 2005, Michael Waltrip would accidentally spin Robbie Gordon out under caution. In Robbie's defense, he was probably in the right here. He deserved to be mad. And Michael Waltrip just didn't seem to care about what he did. So Robbie Gordon got out of his car and threw his helmet right at Michael Waltrip's door. This would insinuate a NASCAR penalty for Gordon. He was fined and docked points. And especially in his post-race interview when he cussed out Michael Waltrip. This just shows that Robbie Gordon was a hot-headed driver back in the day.
This is under green. That's just Harvick. Makes the pass, slides up in front of Kenseth. Took the nose off of Kenseth's cars. He jacked him up going across there. Gets down into 3. he's able to get away from him here, then the caution comes out.
Yeah, that was everything that transpired between the two of them under green.
And then Harvick was not happy with Kenseth because he pushed him across the short chute, so he turns him around.
Kenseth comes back around to pick up the position where he was running and turns
him around. So what's the score, Larry?
Oh, I'm not sure on that one. We know it's at least 1-1.
It's going to be Oval Office to Oval Office. It's be a big
the line keeps getting longer there.
Because in this, as in any other sport, there's no room for vigilante justice.
From our overhead camera, our Pennzoil copter cam, you see the contact. Rusty Wallace almost spun out as he was trying to correct his car. Terry Labonte goes by to take the lead, and we see the heavy damage to Jeff Gordon's car.
If you ever want to know a real rivalry in sports, it was between Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace. Rusty Wallace despised Gordon in his early days in his career. Jeff Gordon was the new hot young kid coming into NASCAR, beating Dale Sr. and Rusty Wallace. Rusty Wallace did not like it. He wanted to be the man that could take the fight to Dale Sr., and when he wasn't able to, he got angry, and he would always take his frustration out of Gordon, the man who was constantly beating him every week. Gordon and Wallace definitely didn't like each other, especially in the 1990s.
And then this. There was a takedown there. We're going to get another takedown here in a minute.
You get points for the takedown, right? You get two points for a takedown, and this is another, right?
That's a takedown for Spencer.
So it's 2-2.
2-2.
Yeah.
That's an escape.
Is that an escape?
Yeah,
because he got to his feet as an escape. And see, I think you got to have a point for blows landed.
Yeah.
There's 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
And now the tired out part's coming.
Yeah.
Kind of look like they're dancing right there.
So I'm going to give that to John West Townley on a decision. Points.
Yeah, I think so too.
There will never be a most embarrassing fight in NASCAR than this one. This is so painful to watch that we support drivers that go over 200 miles per hour and risk their lives on the line. But when they want to have an altercation, this is what we get. This was the fight at Gateway in 2015 between Spencer Gallagher and John West Townley. They rolled around on the ground a little bit and then threw a few punches, and that was basically it. But man, this looks like a joke. I swear 5-year-olds could fight better than this. This is just so stupid the way they try to fight each other. Nobody could throw a proper punch, and they seem to just hold each other down until one of them was able to get a punch in.
Kyle Busch and Brad Keslowski made contact. They go sliding out of the inner loop.
All centers out. Is that us? Yeah, I'm sure that was our fault. I know of one driver that already thinks it's our fault. Y'all better keep me away from that after this race. I will kill that. Hey, we're going to change our plans here, man. Take care of this thing. Just admit it, dude. We don't have a plan because our plan got ruined.
You can see Stewart, he is at pace, and Kyle Larson is not at pace. So up through the S's, and you talked about it earlier for qualifying, this kills Tony Stewart's lap. I mean, it doesn't hurt it, it kills it. And then Larson then decided to go, and I'm sure that didn't make Tony Stewart happy.
No, and one thing we know about Tony is when he's not happy, he's going to come tell you about it, which I respect. I like to, get it out in the open. Well, Tony's getting it out in the open right here. And Kyle, I like to know what he's thinking as he stares at one of his mentors in Tony Stewart.
Well, I think that Tony respects Kyle. I think Kyle respects Tony, and I think when you, it's almost like teammates.
In his third full-time season after coming off of a win at Michigan, Kyle Larson got in a little bit of an altercation with Tony Stewart at the practice session at Watkins Glen. Going up the S's, Kyle Larson would slow his race car down to get into Tony Stewart's way. Tony Stewart didn't like that, and then when they got to the bus stop, he had to overshoot it because Kyle Larson was side by side with him. After they got out of the cars after practice, Tony Stewart went over to Kyle Larson and had some words with him. Nobody knows what was really said, but on the look of Kyle Larson's face, he looked like he knew he was in the wrong.
So he can, and especially, look out! More than that.
Yellowed out.
I think Brad's going to be happy about that one.
We'll just fast start finish here.
Race for second place.
See if you can get it cranked up rolling.
And two teams competing for the Owners' Championship. One of them's in the water.
They had a great race going on. What looked like was going to be maybe for the win if it went green to the end.
Keep coming. Still green. Yellow's out. Yellow's out. Outside wall just past start. Corner here. Inside. 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 All over your... Really?
That is Brad walking directly toward Kyle Busch's pit.
Guys, use your head. Don't be silly. We don't drive the car. We just work on it. Be smart.
The mid-2010s saw the rivalry of Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch. No matter the series, track, or car, they were going to get into each other because they just don't like each other. They would talk about it in interviews, they would talk about it in the media. No matter what, they did not like each other one bit. At Kansas in 2013 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, Kyle Busch would get into Keselowski and just turn him on purpose. I don't know what else to say, and Keselowski didn't appreciate it. He would get out of his race car, walk over to Kyle Busch's pit stall, smack his butt, and point at his pit crew. This just shows how displeased Brad Keselowski was with the moves that Kyle Busch made on the racetrack. At Martinsville in 2014, Brad Keselowski was extremely furious with Kurt Busch. When he was exiting his pit stall, Busch would hit him into a parked car and damage his race car. Keselowski had one of the fastest cars that afternoon, and unfortunately, he was unable to see the finish. But when he went back out on the racetrack, he tried to do a roadblock on Kurt Busch. The funniest thing is, Kurt Busch actually won on that afternoon.
Looking for each other, or is that one guy looking for that other one? Or
Darrell, race drivers have longer memory than elephants.
I don't know. You look out the nose of that thing, you don't have one. You remember who did it?
Well, that's true.
I saw a hand coming out the left side window of that two-car as well.
Yeah. You want by me? You may have to work a little bit.
This is going to get ugly here.
Here we go. And Brad jams on the brakes. Everybody stacks up. Now they're side by side, and it's on, heading for turn 3, and it's off again.
This crash is remembered by Elliott Sadler making extremely hard contact with the inside wall at Pocono, and there being no footage of it. That is what everybody remembers, and I think it should be what everybody remembers, because that was a violent hit for Elliott Sadler. But what they don't remember is the anger Kurt Busch had in his post-race interview after being checked out from the infield care center. He was extremely upset.
The camera
Look at Jimmy.
Yeah, right there. We could keep both these battles in this shot. Great job, guys. Down the stretch. Look out. Trouble. Kurt's into the wall. Boyer's in it as well. And Kurt's getting the worst of it.
Like a little bump drafting going on right there. We're trying to gain the advantage. It's like the
First off, how are you?
I feel pretty good.
What happened?
Got wrecked on the straightaway.
How did it happen?
Jimmy Johnson drove straight through us.
Okay. Thank you, Kurt. Obviously, Kurt very upset with the situation and pretty quick assertion of what happened.
If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, if you've liked this video, I'm pretty sure these videos will catch your eye also.